for the whole swing, if you will, really is having good rhythm, maintaining this rhythm throughout, because that's obviously under the heat, under the pressure of playing, especially in tournament play. If you've got good rhythm,
it'll keep you going through the tough times.
Why don't you just hit a shot for us, and we'll see. I know your tempo is fairly quick, and a lot of people have made note of this, but the thing that you have is great rhythm. I mean, it's constant. In fact, your swing probably over the years as you've got older, Nick, has got a little bit slower, so that's a good thing.
Well, we were kind of banking on that anyway, weren't we?
That's right. But I know you've done a little drill in the past there to really help you with your rhythm, and it's pretty simple, and it's something that really just puts everything together.
And basically just make sure that my first 2-3 feet away from the club is smooth. And what I've done is I just take my normal setup, and instead of starting my swing with the club behind the ball, I now put the club about 18 inches in front of the ball here, and I start it back, and you can see I have that smooth rhythm which is going to build up to the top of my backswing. So I hold it up in front here, and then just go nice.
Sort of gives you some momentum to start with, doesn't it? A lot of times I think where players go wrong, they get over the ball, they freeze, they get really tight. So what this does, it sort of adds a little bit of momentum. It's like, I like to illustrate it's like having a bucket of water being filled, and if you start it off from a static position, you tend to spill the water. But if you start forward just a little bit and then start it back, it just starts the whole thing in motion.
Right.
This is one of those sports, unfortunately, where, you know, we're stationary and the ball's waiting for us to make a mistake.
And we have to create a rhythm.
Exactly, and motion and movement. So this really helps. Let's do that once again. That's really good. It only takes a few shots, really. I'm sure, as you know, I mean, if you lose your rhythm a little bit, starting like this, it really gets you on track in a hurry.
Start off with a club about 18 inches in front.
That's great. That's really good. So remember, obviously, you've got to hold the club above the ball, otherwise you're going to be knocking the ball back every time. But what this will do, if you now hit a regular shot, hopefully by doing it enough times, it'll just rub off and, hey, your rhythm will be the same doing the drill and without the drill. So let's see you hit one more here.
Okay.
All players, no matter what caliber, at times suffer from lack of balance, poor synchronization with their swing, and poor timing. And we're in the bunker here, and Nick's going to show us a drill which can actually help all three aspects, because no question, these faults crop up at times. When I'm talking in terms of no balance, obviously, normally you lose your footing, your legs get a little wild, and you find it's very difficult to get into a consistent position where your swing is timed, and the ball off the club face feels very unsolid, so you lose your timing there. Synchronization-wise, obviously, if your lower body gets too far ahead of your upper body, which is what happens to good players, it's very difficult to be consistent. So this little drill that we're about to proceed on here really helps that, and Nick's going to show us and tell us about it, but it's something that we work on occasionally, and anybody can do this at any time. It'll give you a good feeling.
Right, Dave, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to bury my feet in the sand. I'm going to take my normal stance here, and I normally choke down just a little bit on the club because you are in the bunker, and then I just try and swing the club with my upper body nice and smooth. You can see, although I ended up in the sand quite deep, I managed to pick that one off quite nicely.
All right, you got another one to hit there?
Yeah, I got another one here.
It requires you to be pretty exact here. You certainly know if you've mishit it, and you've really got to get a good angle onto the ball. So those three areas we spoke about, balance, synchronization, and timing, you improve them all with this exercise.
Absolutely. So I haven't buried my feet in. I've got a nice solid base. There's a good one.
That's good. You know, Sam Snead used to do this drill, hitting off grass, but he used to take his shoes off, you know, hit balls barefoot. And that's the same sort of thing, because certainly to round off all the feelings in your swing, you've got to have those three elements. So I think as far as getting your balance and your timing and your synchronization right, this drill is invaluable. So the major points are maintaining the angle of your spine until after impact, keeping continuous flow and rhythm to start your swing, and synchronizing your arm swing with your body turn for better balance. Nick's a great person apart from being a great player. We we've got on very well in a teacher-student relationship. We're also best of friends. I'm godfather to his son, he's godfather to our son, and he's helped my career and I've helped his, so it's a good relationship.
So wouldn't you agree with me?
Well, if there's any shot that good players or poor players want to know about is a tee shot, Nick. They want to know how to hit it long and straight, because certainly this shot sets you up for your round more than anything else.
Well, first of all, just take care of that driver. It's been awful good to me the last 2 years, huh?
Oops, sorry. I haven't got any spikes.
I can see that.
Well, I think the big thing that I see with players setting up to the ball with a driver, a good example is somebody goes out and hits balls for an hour and a half, and they probably hit maybe wedges through, 5 iron, say, and then they get starting to practice with their driver, and they set up in the same way. So the fact of the matter is you've got to learn to set up differently with the driver. Your weight pretty even, and you've got everything level here. In other words, you're not tucked in behind it enough. It's very difficult to really get behind the ball, because a lot of players I see who set up to it very much in a similar way to an iron, they tend to swing it back here and never get behind the ball, and they hang on their left side in a reverse pivot situation. So they're really using a lot of arms in order to propel the golf ball, or to propel the golf club in actual fact. So the key being, I think, is it all in the setup, learning to set up to it where you've got the ball forward, a little wider stance, a little bit more weight back on the right side, and if anything, the hand slightly behind the ball, because this enables you then to really wind up and get behind it. And also, I think a lot of people are worried about trying to keep their head too still on this shot. Because certainly if you watch every great player, for the most part, especially with the driver, there's going to be a little bit of head movement off the ball to really get back into the right side. So that enables you then to really give the ball a good hit up the back of the ball, staying behind it. And remember, with the driver, we're trying to sweep it, aren't we, and hit it on the upswing.
One of the things that I've always liked about the driver, David, is it's the only club in the bag that you can put the ball on the tee. It's always clean ball, you got it on a tee, and it's always on a flat surface. So of all the clubs in your bag, this one should be the easiest one to become consistent with.
Yeah, that's right, in theory. So come on, let's go ahead and do it. Okay. I know you're a great driver of the ball, so show them how it's done.
Well, as you said, what I like to have is a little bit of my weight on the back foot. So I'm at about 60-40 here, even 55-45, but a little more weight on the right foot. And you can see, instead of having my hands in front of the ball like I would with an iron, or right above the ball, I might even have them slightly behind the ball here. You can see that my spine is just angled slightly off the vertical.
So to the right, correct?
To the right, and that my shoulder tilt might be just a little more than I would have with my irons.
Okay.
And that's going to encourage me, when I get into the hitting position, to hit right at the back of the ball, almost on the upswing.
Okay, right. So you really feel like you get behind it when you're driving well, don't you?
Always feel like I'm, as you said earlier, I'm probably 2 or 3 inches behind the ball, or have moved off the ball. I feel like 2 or 3 inches, right, which will help me to get that full turn. Right,
so I mean, the whole key is to getting all that weight back into the right side.
All right, see what we can do on you.
Okay.
So a little more weight on the right side.
I think one of the things when a player gets a driver in their hands, they tend to create a lot of tension there because they feel they should hit it hard. I mean, the key, certainly you do want to hit it hard, but you want to get behind it and trust your mechanics to create the club head speed, correct?
Right, you never want to hold the club too firmly, although it might appear at times that I hold the club really hard. My waggle looks a little hard, and that I actually have enough flexibility in my wrists to let the club set at the top of the swing.
Yeah, so you grip it fairly softly.
There's a good one.
Oh, that's great.
And again, I got a good balance here. Final, always a good sign when you hit a good shot is you have good balance.